Yo, 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 what's going on? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, and I'm here with the one, the only, sometimes green, Heather Hurt. Just don't get her angry.
Yeah, or make
How are you,
men cry
Heather?
when that happens. Hi, how are you?
I'm excited. You know, I love She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We've been breaking it down the past 5 episodes. Now we're on numero 6.
Mhm.
And you know, I love it. You love it. You know, out the gate, we'll just let y'all know we've been loving this show. But we will get into it. We'll talk about stuff we may not like. So far, for me, I don't think there's been stuff I do not like. I think for Heather, it was I think the CGI in the first episode or something, right? That we did have stuff we didn't like, right?
We have
Because
mentioned
it's been a love
dislikes.
fest.
We've been fair. We've been fair. We've mentioned, and I think that there will be some agreement in this episode as well. So
Interesting. All right, y'all. We are breaking down episode 6, aka Just Jen, the wedding episode, if you will. Also, part of this lawyer show. As always, Heather breaks down the story. I break down the cast and maybe special appearances of different actors in that episode, and then we give our review. So let me toss it over to Heather, who's going to break down the story of Just Jen. Here we go.
all right, so this is the all-inclusive wedding episode that happens in every single good sitcom, but it comes with a twist because everything. Oh, my hair is just a mess. Would do Jen in properly with my hair there. So with it, we get the Jen coming out and seeing friends that she hasn't in a long time now that she has this new persona. Whereas while she goes out and she is hanging out with whom she's hoping are friends. And of course, we find that it's the opposite. It would not be a good sitcom if everything went well. We had Nikki really, really, really excited to hang out with Mallory. She got to be Mallory's paralegal during a special one-off, all-inclusive, just the same trial event or what are they called? Litigation? Not litigation. I can't. What's the word?
For like marriage attorneys or something like that.
Not marriage.
Annulment. No.
Why are we not thinking about this?
When
When two people are trying to come to an agreement, they have a mutual I don't know. I didn't pass the bar on purpose. That was my sister. But they get to go through with Mr. Immortal, who is literally an immortal being. He just gets married off the wazoo because he says he's quote unquote in love, but like so many men, they are afraid of confrontation, especially when they're wrong. And so with that being said, those are the two simultaneous events. I'm sure we'll talk about more that happens within the episode as we go on.
All right, so breaking it down to the cast, let me go ahead and pin myself. Let's talk about these cast of characters. Such a marvelous episode. Again, returning, we have our very own She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, Tatiana Maslany, love her. And of course, Nikki Ramos, aka Ginger Gonzaga, love her. And as I've been saying all season, I want more Jamila Jamil, Titania. We got her. She's back. She came back into this episode. You know, I've been missing this, and we had some great moments in this, but we'll talk about that in the review. Also giving us more of her character, Mallory Book, Renee Elise Goldsberry. Love her as well. Got to see her have some good moments with Ginger Gonzaga's character of Nikki Ramos that were really cool. I love that. So shout out to that core team there. Also in this episode, Cousin Ched returns, played by Nicholas Cirillo. We have a possible love interest that I was really excited to see. And he's Filipino, Trevor Salter, aka Josh Miller. You know I'm Filipino. I love to see it. So hey, She-Hulk got some Filipino love. I'm like, yo, let's go.
Times two.
I loved it. So shout out to Trevor Salter. Mr. Immortal. I love this character. Really cool introduction. David Pasquizzi. Really cool character. Very funny episode with this guy. Stole a lot of moments. Really great acting from David Pasquizzi as our Mr. Immortal. And of course, getting married in this wedding episode, Lulu, played by Patty Harrison. If you're not too familiar with her, when I first saw her pop up on screen, I was like, I've seen you before. She's on The Great North, that animated series, who she's fantastic in. She's also in American Dad, Bob's Burgers, Q Force, Tuca and Birdie. I'm still trying to find out what I've seen her in live action. Search Party. She was in the film or the TV series Search Party. That I think I saw her in. I want to say there was another film I saw her in, but great voice. Obviously, she does a lot of voiceover work, but very memorable face as well. Amazing work. Patty Harrison. She played our Lulu, our woman, our
Bridezilla. Bridezilla.
The Bridezilla. Yes, I was trying to find that word, Heather. Thank you. She played a Bridezilla fantastically. Well done there. And then also I'm going to give some further shout outs to the amazing ex-wife cast, because they also had some great moments. Our Mr. Mortal ex-wives, Heidi Rue, ex-wife number 1, Lucia Scarano, ex-wife number 2, Bree Shannon, ex-wife number 3, Shawanda Winston, ex-wife number 4, and also ex-husband. Let's not get that twisted. I loved that. Gregory Nassif St. John as ex-husband number 1. A great cast. I think they did a well job casting and just a great episode. It might have been like and as stated when Jennifer Walters was breaking the fourth wall, a weird moment in season, but hey, I just love that inside baseball stuff that happens with this series and this show. But just really well done and greatly cast. Let's talk about it. What were your thoughts coming into this episode? And then how it broke down as you started watching it, Heather.
So I'm not always the fan of the one-off side silly episodes when it comes to, the filler episodes. So I feel like they can drag sometimes. However, this was, of course, like many other things, you have to get to a certain point. And so I think this is the second part of the previous of episode 5, where it's we need to get that information to get us to the good stuff. So this was by far not my favorite episode. The fight with Titania, of course, we've been waiting for it. I think it kind of ended a little bit anticlimactically, like, come on now, girl. But other than that, it was fun. It was just a silly, goofy filler episode, and sometimes you just need a silly, goofy filler episode. So
I feel that. I just love building out the universe a little bit. I don't mind extending things out a bit as long as it's a fun ride and gives us some content, which I think this did. I thought the joining of Mallory Book and Nikki Ramos together, seeing Renee and Ginger Gonzaga kind of form this union, this group, this tandem, while Jennifer Walters was out kind of showing us her inside self, her past life with this friend that came out the woodworks to invite her to a wedding and be a bridesmaid, was cool. Because then we got to see that new dynamic in relationships and building out this superhuman firm. And then to get like this lawyer show back a little bit with Mr. Immoral going to trial with these ex-wives and ex-husband. Fantastic and really well done. Just the character interactions were great there. Yeah, fun ride for me. I see your point where, like, especially if you're really hot on the storyline and you want to see how that develops or give more meat to that, I see how that can throw some people off. But for me, I don't mind it as much as long as you make it fun. And they did that hands down with this, and we got to see a possible love interest, because that's also life. Yeah. Life is like that. You may be heading one path, but you're gonna have to take a side trip every now and then in life. And so I thought it was handled well, really well done. And hey man, She-Hulk has a love affair for us Filipinos, so I'm all about that.
Well, one of my favorite love points was you could definitely tell how upset Nikki was when she found out that Mallory was married. You could just see her going, "Oh, you're married?" Like, she was happy, but she was also like, "God damn it, there was my chance." Yeah.
It was so cute, right? There's just, but seeing that relationship get built out and seeing that she's not as cold-hearted, because so far Mallory's been really like, to her own, right? So seeing amazing Nikki, who just shows her heart with everything she does, just come in there and kind of break that exterior wall that Mallory kind of has been showing us now, and just seeing how personable she was. Well, we did see a little bit with Jen and her connecting that last episode as well. So the walls are starting to break, but it just always has been kind of like, Mallory against everybody else. So I'm digging this and just getting these characters together even more and seeing that relationship blossom amongst everyone is going to be amazing. So, fun episode for me.
One thing that really Goldsberry is just amazing as Mallory Brooke. We will not, there's no argument there. But one thing that, going back on what you were just talking about with her kind of standoffishness, Black female or non-binary, however you want to look, non-cisgender male lawyers are less than 2% of the whole of the lawyership. So I'm curious if they are taking her standoffishness as a defensive mechanism, because so many women of color are limited and are, they have to be that brick wall to be taken seriously far more than other women, let alone females in general. So I love that perspective, and I'm curious, Renee, honey, if you're out there and you see this and you want to chat, I'm here for you. Let's chat.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. We got to bring these things to light. How just different just how life is for everyone of every color, creed. And I dig that. And it's important, and yeah, this is the start of how we break these stereotypes down as well. So I feel that fun ride. I gush every time. It's kind of like crazy when we do these reviews because I'm just going to gush. But I have been honest. We've all been honest. Like you said, you were okay with this. It did break kind of like certain.
They're not going to be perfect. Not every single episode is going to be perfect, and that's okay.
Exactly.
That's okay.
So I'm just digging it, man. They're just delivering every time with me. It's what is it? Baseball. They're knocking it out of the park. I'm digging it. So
sports ball is not my.
Yeah.
I would like to, before we go off into a huge tangent about a tangent. We're going to go into a tangent.
Tangent time.
English. It's a fictional language, my friends. So we actually got a comment on one of our YouTube videos about and not the one that I mentioned on Facebook, not that one.
Okay. I can't remember.
We got one that asked us very specifically why we continue to mention how people are kind of dismissing this series, how a lot of people are hating on this series, and from their perspective, they're like, I'm loving this. Why do you think there is so much hate? Why do you keep pushing up? Why do you keep talking about it? Gotcha. And it's one of those where for one, we appreciate your comments. Definitely reach out to us. That's what we're here for. But the thing is that what we have and what we see is we see an entire just gambit of responses. But the people that hate on this show the most are those who refuse to watch it and those who hated the show before it even aired. So the reason that we mentioned that we want people to watch it to stop hating on it is because it's one of the things that I used to hate my stepfather for saying when I was a kid is, how do you know you don't like it until you try it? Because I used to hate every single type of food. And he would just, every single time we'd sit down, he'd be like, how do you know you don't like it until you try it? And that's the thing that we're seeing, is that most of the hate is coming from people who don't see it. So the only way for us to be like, guys, stop being haters, is to point it out and say, it's great. Please come and join the show. Watch it. You're going to fall in love with it.
Completely agree. Well said, Heather. And thank you. Yeah. For those that are writing in and maybe even like why spotlight why people are hating it, because we, I to your point. Yeah. Like it just, I get upset that people are being dismissive about it. So I'm just going to point out, if I see a plethora of that, I'm going to like, hey man, just stop listening to it. So, but thank you for your comments. And, but yeah, as y'all know, I'm a lover of this show. They can't do no wrong. But yeah, if you want to talk about it and maybe even the issues you have with it, let us know in the comments. We're willing to chat, and Heather's checking it out. So, let us know. We'll talk about it. Heather, how can the people reach out to you if they want to talk all things She-Hulk, attorney at law?
Always message me on the tweeters at Nerd is a Heather, or on Instagram and TikTok at Heather is a Nerd. I actually just started a new comic series on TikTok. So,
let's find that out. I love it. There we go. And for me, it's the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. And of course, here with Heather and the whole squad at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. look for next episode where we'll be gushing, maybe not, probably gushing.
Probably.
Episode 7 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Heather and your boy Clea P. Nerds rule the world.